Hey, what's going on, everybody? Who'll be 186 back again with another video. Unfortunately, I was having some streaming issues yesterday, so I couldn't complete my discussion about PlayStation Spartacus. And I'll just do it here. I'll do it in regular video form. Spartacus is the code name for a new for a new online gaming platform that Sony is making. Now, there's talks about whether or not it's an outright competitor to Game Pass or not. At the end of the day, it is what it is, right? To me, here's my thoughts on it. This was news that was leaked by Jason Schreier of Bloomberg News. To me, he's the top video game journalist out there. I believe, like, even though I don't want to say necessarily that I just believe everything that he says. I believe a lot of what he's saying is true, and I take his word for it. Even though there is one thing he did say here that I disagree with, and I'll get to that near the latter half of the video. Now, first thing first, what this is essentially is them essentially combining PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now, right? And according to Jason, they're going to be doing this in a three-tier system. The first tier is going to be what you have now for PlayStation Plus, which is what I have, right? PlayStation Plus, right? The second tier is going to be, according to Jason, the second tier would offer a large catalog of PS4 and PS5 games, which I believe is the instant games collection that you get when you first purchase your PS5. At least that's what I think. At least that's what I think it is on PS5. I could be wrong, but I know they have a program where you get those type of games. The third tier is the tier where it pretty much is going to combine it's going to have the PlayStation Plus integration where you get access to a bunch of old games. Now, ultimately, I do think it's a no-brainer for Sony to combine PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus. I think it was an inevitability that it was going to happen. But here's the problem that I have with this, right? The first problem I have with this is this notion that that the people who own PlayStation Plus, especially those who's had it for years, like I have, they only get the first tier of the service. In my opinion, the top tier of the service should be the one for people who've been paying $60 a year for the service. They should be upgraded to the top tier of this new PlayStation Spartacus, in my opinion. I don't know if they're gonna do it. They haven't announced it yet, but according to what Jason is saying, what PlayStation users are essentially the first tier, and I think that's BS. Another thing that I have a problem with the tier is that the third tier is the only tier that gives you access to these old PS1, PS2, PS3, and PSP games. And the thing that always annoyed me about the narrative that the narrative now of backwards compatibility when it comes to what a lot of people, mainly Xbox dudes, and you have influencers who say the same bullshit, is that apparently backwards compatibility, the way that they did it, the way that Microsoft did it, which FYI they ended a couple months ago, by the way, and no one on the Xbox side has called them out on it. No influencers has called them out on it. This notion that backwards compatibility is something to be used as a way to promote it and champion it when you know damn well that you can't get all those games on there due to licensing issues, knowing that the only way that backwards compatibility can be done perfectly is the way that it's been done back in the old school days, right? If you have a new console, that can play the old games, then boom, you're right. Then that's how it should be. The way the PS3 was originally. Every fucking game plays on that system. And don't give me the bullshit about FPS boosters and all this other upgrades and all this other bullshit. The vast majority of those games that Microsoft were pumping up, and all the Xbox dudes and influencers were pumping up, were games that you can play on PC for a lot of the same benefits. A lot of the same benefits. And then now all of a sudden, because they ended it, all of a sudden now people don't want to say anything. And the funny thing is that people championed it like it was some type of like great thing. And listen, I don't have a problem with backwards compatibility, but do it the right way. Do it the right way. And the way they did it before is not the right way. The way that Sony is going to go about this is not the right way. And when everyone stops giving a shit about those old games, and when they finally come to the realization that, hey, we can't bring all these games, all the PS1, PS2, whatever, we can't bring these games. We're not going to be able to bring these games out the way that we're supposed to bring them out because of these issues. Then all of a sudden people are just going to just forget about it. Nah, man, to me it's dog shit. Like, it really is. It's dog shit. And this idea that, hey, the top tier is the one that gets the old, that you get access to these old games. I don't like that either. I don't like that either. I criticize Nintendo for it, and it's only fair that I criticize Sony for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's not right. But whatever. It is what it is, right? So you have this thing now. People saying, "Oh, is this a competitor to Game Pass?" Now, I think it's safe to say that one, they're not the same. Like PlayStation Now, and shit, what do you call it? PlayStation Now and Game Pass are not the same, but they are competitors, right? Like, this notion that they're not the same. That means they're not competitors. That's BS to me. Yeah, if you're charging people a price to get access to old games, yeah, they're competitors. They may not be. They don't have to be the same to be competitors. They're still competing for your dollar. They're still using nostalgia as a marketing tool. You know what I mean? Well, mainly, well, mainly Sony with PlayStation Now, but like I said, they're I know they have some old games on Game Pass also, right? And obviously the main thing, and Jason Schreier said this, is that, and this is the part where I don't necessarily agree with him, but I'll get back to that in later on. He said that Sony's not going to be putting all of their first party games on their day one. That's what he said, or at least that's not the plan as of right now. So yeah, so that's what he said. I'll get back to that later. But they are competitors. They are, and I do think the rebranding that Sony is doing with this, I think, has a lot to do with Game Pass, in my opinion. And it's fine. It's not a big deal. Like I said, I have Game Pass. I don't have access to my Xbox right now. Actually, Traditionalist has it, and so I don't have access to my Xbox, and I do plan on getting the Series S at some point, and then obviously I'll be able to play games like Halo and stuff like that, because I do want to play Halo. Um, but this idea, like, they're not competitors, I think is flawed, because they are competitors. They may not be doing the same thing, at least not right now. They're not doing the same thing, but they are competitors. And if Sony wants to bolster, you know, their online, streaming service and all the other shit, then then I mean, the way they're going about it, it just makes sense. It just makes sense. It's not something that I would do, but it is what it is, right? They're a business. That's what they're gonna do. Now, here's my opinion on this, and this is the part where I kind of disagree with Jason on. He said that they're not going to do it, at least not right away. They're not going to put their game day one on the service. To me, it may not happen right away, but it is an inevitability. At least in my opinion, it is an inevitability. And I do think that this is what this is. is a Trojan is the next step towards doing something that I said Sony is going to end up doing is putting their games on the service day one on PC. And I think I did also read that this is only going to be on PlayStation, PS4, PS5, but it will come to PC eventually, right? I do believe that. And he also but me personally, I do think this is the next step towards taking this and allowing PC gamers to access their exclusive games, the PlayStation exclusives on PC day one, and it's gonna be day and date with everybody else, right? And I said, and I stand by this, and I don't care what anyone thinks about me saying this. Is the minute they decide to put their games on PC day and date is when I'm done with the PlayStation consoles. End of the day, you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not mad. I'm not upset or nothing like that. But at the end of the day, I've always been steadfast is that the only reason why you buy consoles, especially nowadays, is because of the exclusive content. You need exclusive content, in my opinion, to justify, you know, gaming on PC. You know what I mean? To me that's the only justification for console gaming. And I get what Microsoft has done over the years. Like I get it. But at the end of the day, like the reason why I can still buy an Xbox, at least right now, like once PlayStation games go on PC, I'm done with consoles in general. But the reason why I'm okay with Xbox doing it right now because they're not my primary platform. They're not. PlayStation is. And if you don't give me a reason to buy your platform, then I don't. Then it's over. Then at least for me it's over. And again, I'm not mad. I'm not upset about it. But like I said, I believe in exclusivity, and especially nowadays when it comes to console gaming, like that's really the only thing that justifies that purchase of a console over investing in PC gaming is the exclusives. And if the exclusives aren't there, then what's the point of having the console? Like ease of use, like no, like you saw what I had to deal with yesterday with when you saw what I had to go through yesterday with streaming. Like like I said before, if I do end up going to PC gaming, I know it's gonna be a struggle. I know that, but at the end of the day, like I need there has to be a reason to game on PC, and when there it would game on console, and when there really isn't, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like there really is no point. So, like I said, I do think that this Spartacus thing is just another step towards them doing that. I do think it is the next step. And if that's the case, then yeah, like then it's yeah, then like again, what's the point of console gaming? You know what I mean? So just to kind of like put everything in a bow. I like I said, this move of them going to doing this is something that in some cases it kind of needed to be done. You know what I mean? Like it kind of needed to be done. They needed to merge now and plus. Um, it was necessary, and I don't hate all the ideas that they have with it, but like I said, I don't like this idea that playing I don't like that idea of paying a premium price for old games. I don't like that idea. But it is what it is, right? And I do believe that this is the next step towards them putting all their games on PC, day and date on PC. I do think that's the next step. And like I said, when it happens, I'm done. I'm out. You know what I mean? Like it just it is what it is at this point in time. And like I said, I'm not upset. I'm not mad about it. But it is what it is, man. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'm out. Peace.